Okay, I got the floor ground down, so I'm ready to start laying tile in my bathroom addition here. And it's part of a larger bedroom area. So basically the way this is gonna work is I may put a pocket door in here, and then that would just close up that space there, so that basically this was a huge bedroom, so adding a bathroom wasn't that big of a deal. This used to be the old closet, and then I can add a closet wherever, but this was a really impractical closet. The size was just not working well. All right, so I ground this floor down. You can see where the gravel's exposed. To give it the slope, I'm leaving this up just above the level of the concrete, so that way when I put my tile in, it'll take up that extra little bit of space, and then the top of this will basically be flush with the tile. And I vacuumed and mopped everything after getting all this ground down. I took a grinder, went around the base of this. I mounted this just a little bit low, and then ground the floor to give it a good slope to the drain. And when I cut the pipe here to move that, let the water run out, it went right straight for that drain. So I know everything's working good. I went ahead and went over everything with a vacuum cleaner about 3 times, and to suck all the dust up, and then mopped it about 3 times just to get the concrete damp and to get that dust off of there, because I'm pouring the Level Quick on top of there, and I don't want it to hit that dry dust and form like a layer between the two of those. So I want full contact. And then I'm leaving these baseboard tiles in mainly as an experiment. I have not done that before. Normally I set my wall tiles on top of the floor, but I'm gonna just try to seal everything up real good because I'm sitting on a slab, and also everything runs down to this drain. So in the event that something did get under the tile, it's got a place to go. But I don't see that there's gonna be a problem. I didn't have a problem with the other bathroom that I did this way. So everything's looking good, and I haven't even put my sealer on it yet. So I'm gonna start pouring the Level Quick, and I'm gonna start out that by pouring it thick in the corners, and then let everything run down to this drain, and then keep pushing it back up to the wall until it starts to get real thick, like real thick honey. And then that'll give me a continuous slope coming down to that drain. And then I'm gonna do the same on this side here, pour line here, and let that run down towards that drain to give me the slope in the floor. But I did grind it in there also. So all I'm doing is just adding a little extra lift next to my walls, and making sure everything is nice and smooth, so that when I lay my tile, it's gonna be a good flat surface. And which it is pretty flat, so I got that going for me. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna mix up some Level Quick and get started. So it's a good idea to always have plenty of Level Quick on hand, just in case you run out. You don't want to run out in the middle of a pour, so get a little bit extra. And then with the extra that you have, take an old paint bucket and put that in there so it's not pouring out of the bag and spilling everywhere. And then you'll have that for your start for next time. All right, so I'm gonna mix up probably close to a half a bucket for what I'm doing here for this pour, but I may do it in several sections because I want the thicker stuff, I want to make that real thick in the corners, and then pour lighter stuff on top. Okay, so step 1 here, I'm gonna go ahead and cement this pan in. So I poured some of this Level Quick around the floor, and then I can just work that in there with the trowel. Try not to get it so thick on the edge that it runs over into the pan. And the cool thing about this stuff is you don't even need to use a flat trowel. You could scrape it with a notch trowel, and all those notches will level out and fill right in. So really cool product. So anyway, I'm gonna keep pouring this around the pan until it is full, and then that pan will be completely cemented into that hole, because it's got space underneath it where I cut into the floor. And normally you're setting this pan into the concrete, so we're doing this just a little bit different. All right, so let me work on that and we'll get back. So I got this next batch really thick, so you can see how it just lays there, depending on how thick it is. And that will allow me to work that up onto that edge and give me a little extra lift to keep that water away from the wall. So I'm gonna work that down. Also, I took the trowel and worked it all over the concrete to get it to start to bond with the concrete. Because if you got a dry spot between the level quick and the concrete, you're gonna have a little bit more trouble getting that to bond. And then this stuff is gonna sit there and bubble and pop a little bit. So if you work over it a few times with the trowel and you can get the air pockets out of it, that seems to help for what it looks like later. But it'll just slowly ooze its way across the floor. And if you keep pushing it up into the corners, then when it starts to set, you'll have a nice slope. You have actually kind of a perfect slope from your corners to your pan. And then I want to keep this pan as low as possible. So I'm gonna barely have any next to the pan. I just had to get some next to the pan in order to get it to run into the cracks to get it to completely seal. So I'm gonna bring this out to here and put a ridge there, so I'm gonna have to mix up some more. But in the meantime, I'm gonna work this up against the wall and then let it do what it does. You don't want to pour this more than an inch thick at a time, just because you get too many bubbles and stuff in there. And you can layer it, so it will flash down to 0, so you can completely taper it down to whatever you want to have with it. All right, so I'm going to work this in, see how it goes. The leveler is in. You can see this part I mixed up thinner. It looks more like milk chocolate than the thicker parts. And then I just kind of worked that into the stuff underneath to fill in any little holes or anything. It's hard to tell how level things are with that thin stuff on top. I put it heavy up against the wall, and it, as you can see, it kind of ran down. And then you can walk on this if you need to get over to thin that out. So I'll flash that in with the floor a little bit and then fill my footprints in as I'm coming back. And then I leveled it there a little bit around the toilet. It's good to have a nice level spot where you set your toilet, otherwise you gotta shim it because the stupid thing's rocking, and it's way easier if you get it level first before you put tile in, so that you can keep everything even. Although you can level it up with the tile as you're mixing your mortar and how thick you put it on and all that kind of stuff. But if you got it right to start with, everything else goes good from there on up. So I got a little bit in the pan. I need to take a wet cloth and wipe that out. And so unfortunately I got to walk back across that, fix it, and then fix everything on the way back out. So there she is. And I got a good, you can't really see it here, but I got a good little hump going through here to direct that water back down towards the pan in the shower. So I may not even need a shower curtain. We'll see how things go. But anyway, there it is. Next step. So I've always wanted to try this and never ended up in a situation where I could. But with the unsanded grout, it's really hard to get this stupid thing to start coming off of there. And if you wipe too much, it comes out of the grooves. So like you're wiping with your sponge, trying to get it clean. And if you keep going and going and going, then it just ends up wiping all your grout out. So, Mr. Squeegee, what's up? I'm starting to love my life again. Like magic. All right, quick update of bathroom tile project number 2. So I got the toilet mounted there, drain came out fair. The only thing, it was just a hair lower than I wanted, but it's really hard to tell until you get the tile on there, because you think you got it the right height, everything measures good, and then when you set a flat tile up next to it, it can kick one direction or another, or tip or pitch. So it's really hard to exactly get them right, but pretty satisfied with how the shower pan came out. And so now it's just a matter of getting the walls done, tiling in my little soap boxes. And this part, I think I'm gonna go ahead and tile it up to the ceiling. And I may switch to a different kind of tile for there, I don't know yet. Just still playing with it. But anyway, it may look a little weird having a bathroom inside of a bedroom. I like the design, but not everybody's going to. So what I'll probably end up doing is I'm gonna put a wall in here, coming off of here, and then coming over, probably put a sliding door in. And then on this end, I'm gonna put another set of bifold doors, build a wall divider in the center between there, and then I'll have 2 linen closets. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes.